say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body. Because I am more than physical matter, I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world. I deeply desire to expand, to experience, to know, to understand, to control, to use such greater energies and energy systems as may be beneficial and constructive to me and to those who follow me. I deeply desire the help and cooperation, the assistance, the understanding of those individuals whose wisdom, development, and experience are equal to or greater than my own. I ask their guidance and protection from any influence or any source that might provide me with less than my stated desires.
Do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. Do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I am the void now.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
All broadcasting live from a shack on a hill in the Mossy Creek bottoms of King Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void, live here on YouTube. And there will be probably some technical issues as we move along. I'm not sure. I can't get the phones working, so it is what it is. But we'll still get Mary's message, and we'll take your questions in the chat if we make it to that. We will take your questions in the YouTube chat from Mary. I apologize about being late, although I've been late quite often, but this time I know it's a cosmic condition, so it's a big deal. So all of you guys, you have to be patient when technical issues happen, because they happen. It's just the way it is. Sometimes it happens. Won't be the first time, won't be the last. But with that being said, I could say the same thing for Miss Mary. It won't be the first time. It won't be the last. She's here with us to give us our cosmic conditions. 2 moons we did this month. So what's up, Mary?
Yeah, we're giving an extra bonus this month because we did the first Capricorn new moon. So this is our bonus plan right here. We're tithing and gifting even more Capricorn. Remember the old commercial of, was it the Ginsu knives or whatever? They do this sale for only $9.99, and then all of a sudden they go, but wait, there's more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, your voice does it better. So Joe and I are giving you, but wait, there's more. So
Yeah.
Listen, blessed Christmas, blessed December, blessed. There's so much going on. I can't tell you how many times Joe knows, and the other show I do, Nicole knows on her show, how I kept saying as Pluto was getting ready to move into Aquarius, the skies are going to have all kinds of anomalies. If we think back to May of this year, we think back to the Aurora Borealis, whatever was going on, however that was happening. When I walked outside in East Tennessee in that first week of May, and it's like glory, the skies are dancing colors. So am I an expert on how that happened or what happened? But I do track space weather. And unless they've been lying to us all along about that, what I experienced with my boots on the ground is that I knew that the solar maximum and the solar minimum, they run every 11 years. So you've got a total of 22 years, 11 minimum and 11 maximum. And we've been entering solar maximum in most of the space weather sites and JPL. We're saying, 2025 solar maximum, 2025 solar maximum. So it kind of blew out all the space people. I mean, they were all going, what just happened? Because they kept having these X flares. And so besides the mysteries of how Capricorn is this, that there's drones, they're beginning to talk about the drones are flying low over the oceans, coming up out of the oceans, going up high. For some reason, I don't know why, primarily over New Jersey, New York, and there's all kinds of social media and trash media type of speculations about that, but it still ends up being the skies are very active, and we've had asteroids, and we've had
orange orbs
incredible
too, yeah.
Orbs, the orbs, and we've had all kinds of. There's an uptick in people that I'm hearing on various podcasts, as well as clients talking about seeing orbs, to Joe's point, and having more dynamic dreams, out-of-body experiences, actually having, I call it spiritual tea, that they seem to be having that deeper dream or that vignette of an out-of-body experience while their body is sleeping, to where they're actually walking with jumping timelines, walking with their sacred guardian angel, having visitations of a guide, lots and lots of animal totems showing up in dreams. And what I'm seeing in the collective, Joe, is there's a heaviness that people have been experiencing. It seemed to ramp up after Thanksgiving, even though we're usually in the jovial Sagittarian time, Sagittarius time, when we start to cycle out of Scorpio into Sagittarius. Jupiter is jovial there, and, it's expansive, and like maybe we can finally, after 4 years, get together with some family members and friends and not be so divided. This is the first new moon since Pluto has moved out of Capricorn. So we're going back, and a couple of times we're going to go back to this timeline with celestial forecasting. We're going back to 2008 when Pluto first went into Capricorn. And if you are one of these four signs, especially if you are Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, or Libra, the events and the changes and the hopes and wishes and diving right in to dance with chance and then have it go sideways and all over the place since 2008 is incredible. It's really incredible how the Pluto cycles can be anywhere from 14 to close to 20 years. And so I want to first say to those four signs, to Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, and Aries, there's a reprieve in 2025 for you. There's a reprieve because Pluto is now out of Capricorn, and that has a lot to do with top-down bullying, big changes in leaders and presidents and kings and queens and laws and restrictions and ordinances, and I said, and so with Pluto going in to Aquarius, this is the first new moon without Pluto being in Capricorn. So the Aquarius is power to the people, we the people, justice and equality for all, but there's a fixed sign of Aquarius that says if you come to the table to play dirty, if you do random acts of cruelty, you're going to be eviscerated immediately. There's not going to be a whole, as we move in to 2025, there's people that think they got away with stuff. It's not going to happen. Aquarius is similar to Scorpio when it comes to that karmic guillotine. It really is. I mean, it's Uranus, and it's sudden. It's the Tower card. You combined with the Star card. And so it's got to do with, by your works shall you be known. And it's the ascended Christ energy. There's a very, very strong holy code coming up with Saturn in Pisces getting ready to move into Aries. We're shifting in 2025. You're going to hear a lot of people talking about this. I kind of like to cut to the chase. I like to look at the elements because I love the Native American medicine wheel. And what's happening that's key, besides all the blah, 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 is that the 4 outer planets that have a lot to do with our ultimate yes or no, the 4 outer planets are moving from the element of earth and water, so let's say yin and magnetic, and they're moving into the yang energetic signature of fire and air. So Saturn will be moving out of Pisces for the last 2.5, 3 years into Aries, and Neptune is going to move into Aries. That's fire. Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus is going to leave that long pilgrimage in the sign of Taurus. It's not happy in Taurus, and it's going to move into Gemini. So and there's going to be some interesting dances of our boldness. But the fight that we have right now, if you want to look at it as a challenge, a lesson, our karmic schooling right now, no matter what your zodiac sign is, I'm seeing a very strong running theme that people are a little bit weepy, and people are slowed down, and people are fraught with some type of a level or sense of grieving the past. And it feels to me that 2024, each year, whatever country you live in, when we're closing out one measured year and opening the portal of the next year, we kind of look, sometimes we're eager to jump into the next year. It's like, oh, thank God 2020 is gone. But this one is brought up a lot of things. This particular year, with Mars spending a long time in Leo, retrograding and going back into Cancer, it's given us all the feels. So this full moon, it's called not full moon, excuse me. This new moon is called the black new moon because it's the second new moon where the sun and the moon are married or join forces in the same sign, therefore amplifying everything that sign represents. So this one, as we're closing out 2024, if you look at its ruler, Saturn, and you kind of keep it a little more simple astrologically, Saturn, each planet, each sign has pluses and minuses. And Saturn governs the sign of Capricorn. Saturn can be the hermit in a sense. Saturn can be the sage. Saturn can be the devil in the details. Saturn can be the fears. Saturn can be what we have to confront, what we resist that needs to change, where we cling to the past, not because it was so great all the time, but because it's familiar and it's somewhat predictable emotionally. I have clients that will say, well, it's not really what I want, that job, that relationship, but I can predict it. It's reliable. I don't know what might be out there, so I'm not ready to break it off, because what if what's out there is a worse job or a worse city or a worse move or a worse partnership? So rather than looking externally, Saturn, and particularly right now it's in Pisces, which is favorable to Capricorn, is asking us to, I kind of sum this second Capricorn new moon up as poignant conclusions. So the sadness might be a little bit of that, I had such hopes for that, or I thought that would last longer. It sure seemed like it would work out. We're cutting ties from the past to move forward, but part of what's the struggle, I think, from what I'm hearing, the way different people are saying it, is we've got to look, recognize, accept, and see deeply how our past circumstances or choices are impacting our future and our ability to move forward, and not, as psychologists will say, carry that heavy luggage with us. So we're looking back 18 years. We're looking back into 2006, 2007. If you're making notes, that's the last time that we had the North Node in the sign of Pisces. So you're hearing that again. Neptune's in Pisces right now. Saturn's in Pisces right now. The nodes and eclipses are going to shift in 2025 into the North Node, the Dragon's Head, our current karmic evolvement, empowerment. We're going to have Pisces and Virgo highlighted in our charts. Both of those signs are the service of healing. It's Carl Jung's archetype of the wounded healer. And ironically, as Joe and I are doing this show tonight, Chiron, the wounded healer asteroid, has moved and turned direct at around mid-degrees of Aries. So it's kind of challenging, the 9 degrees of this Capricorn new moon. So that's the astrology speak. But what it means is there's a part of us that's wanting to shatter and break out of the glass room. Let he who's without guilt cast the first stone. We're wanting to shatter the suppositions that family has about us. Well, I know Joe, and he's this, and he's that, and he's an Aries, so it's this or that, or, Sally's this, or Jan's this, or Rob is this, and people come up with their definitions of you and what you stand for and what you're into. But we are unfathomable consciousness because the divine breathed life. The divine gave that resplendent breath of light into an earthy body. So Capricorn, the earth signs represent Mother Earth, our physical temple body, the things that can go bonk and break and fracture or bruise, and how well we're able to nurture and heal it and accept it and move on from it. And so the Capricorn and Cancer have a hard time letting go. They, even if the memories are painful, instead of it using it as a foundation or a platform of, okay, if we can learn from our mistakes, then it's a good thing. I've been on the planet long enough that I truly am grateful that I'm at the point that the things that didn't work out, the promises that people didn't keep, just the odd things, the chaotic things, the surprising things, gee, I wonder why that happened that kind of way things. You look back on them and they have that statement that you hear, hindsight is 20/20, and you start to see how the moving parts, even when they fly apart, ultimately, although you may get wounded, although you may have to pause and not be so hyperactive and want a result right away, there's something in the process of the seed and how it was planted and the time frame of when it's in the darkness and it grows and it evolves, and there's that whole process of it's got to grow, it's got to evolve, it may thirst, it may go through a drought, and Capricorn reminds us that we'll have those things in this earth walk, that we are spirit, and we're going to have the pluses and the minuses and the losses and the gains, and we're not supposed to get overly attached to any of it because we came here as spirit. And Capricorn reminds us it's time for us to prioritize that which really matters in our life walk. And so there will be people that accompany us. There'll be people that aggravate us. There'll be people that don't seem to get us. And then there's the people that have our back, arrive in our darkest moment, seem to send us energy from across the miles, our guides that are in the heavenlies. There's a coalescence that's going on right now with this new moon. It's, of course, the last moon of the 8th numerological year of 2024, but it's a huge energy of restore, reset, realign, because the serious gateway, the serious celebration of the great star in the first week of July, this new moon is aligning across from that in Capricorn. So we've had two, speaking of space weather and how I keep seeing the skies being busy with anomalies, there's been two, just in the last couple of days, X-class flares. The Schumann resonance, which is Earth's magnetic field, is showing massive waves of life coming at us, the light waves and the solar eruptions happening. They're turning into Earth facing over the 31st of December and the first day of 2025. So it's a huge shift for humanity, all of us as Earth citizens living here on Mother Earth, collectively and individually. We've got to connect. Saturn says, find your anchor. Where's your anchor in the storm? Capricorn is the ancient symbol of Capricorn in the constellation is the goat with the dolphin's tail. So the dolphin, the great light messengers of the ocean, the dolphin is typically Pisces, type of energy, and it's going to the depths and the mysteries of the oceans of our emotions. And Capricorn wants to climb and get to that highest mountain to see the panoramic view, to see what's really going on all around me. There's going to be intensity and struggle, discipline, and dedication to climb a mountain. When you go hiking, when you go up high, you know what that's like when you're going on the craggy rocks and things. When you go out into the ocean, it's a mystery. I mean, you may have manatees, you may have horseshoe crabs, you may have jellyfish, you may have sharks or porpoise that are swimming around. That's their world. And although I'm an Earth citizen, I'm entering into the Piscean world when I go into the ocean. But there's an ocean floor, and there's the Mariana Trench, there's actually Capricornian kind of areas there where fresh water meets salt water, and there's depths and there's mysteries to that. So as high as the mountain can go, there's the depths of the mysteries of the ocean, and it's the sands of time. And so Capricorn has a lot to do with chronos and time, but every speck of sand or seashell that you collect on an ocean, on a shoreline, has incredible stories and histories to it. And Saturn and this Capricorn moon is about our history. And what part of our history are we ready to divorce? Are we ready to move away from? There are higher frequencies coming in. So I would suggest, from the Yuletide point of where we go into the solstice point of Capricorn beginning, and it's north on the First Nations medicine wheel. So this is that cycle until we come to Aries, until we come to the spring equinox. This is the three signs of winter, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, that are saying to us, restore, realign, reach into your spirit, allow the gifts and the strengths of your soul, call upon, summon your angelic guides. Don't try to do it all just through your thoughts and your mind and your frustrations and your impatience. This is the time for you to say, I don't want to have to do it the same old kind of way. I want to move away from frustration, because that's a certain kind of energy, and I want to move more into gratitude, because biophysicists are talking all the time about how when we can move into gratitude, even if it's starting out to be a crappy day or ending as a challenging day, when you move into the things that were something that was an upliftment, that it could have gone wrong and it didn't go wrong, or it did go wrong and then it worked itself out. When you move into the energy frequencies of gratitude, no matter how many podcasts you listen to, or invigorating books that you listen to, or chants that you do, you still have to put it into practice. And Saturn is the boots on the ground. Are you putting it into practice? And when you look at two very popular words that begin with an F, there's faith and there's fear. And both of them require a type of a commitment. So most of us have worked and been struggling with fear. What about this? What about that? And what if that happens? But faith is a different kind of an effluvia, of a flow of energy, because both require our attention. And so I've personally been breaking up with fear and inviting faith to come into me. And so that's pretty much what I feel that the Capricorn anchor is wanting to gift us. Why not? Why not apply some disciplines? Why not work with maybe some different herbs? Don't try to change your whole diet. Maybe just take a few more steps in your walking each day. Don't try to blame yourself if you don't completely overturn your life in a certain type of way. Allow it to go into segments and snippets, because the big damn deal of 2025, when we really seem to emerge birthed as a whole new being of lighter consciousness and new beginnings, and we allow births to come into our life, and we'll get into the houses of this and the specifics of this. This second new moon, this black moon of 2024, and time flies. We'll soon be talking about spring, even though we're right here on the 30th of December of 2024. Think about the people that didn't get to join you and finish this year, or the animals. I think, Joe, it came to my mind today that our beloved Scottish podcast host, Kev Baker, he left the world on January 3rd. in 2022, and so he's one of our heavenly agents. And so to his mother, Pearl, and his wife, Ann Craney, and his son, Kevin Jr., I want you to know that we remember Kev, that he came many times to talk to Joe and I. And I love that the network, Truth Frequency Network, still has Kev Baker's podcast and his shows. And so to me, I honor things like that. I'm grateful for things like that instead of just like, oh, well, that person passed away, let's scrub it all. All of his wisdom, the positive side of the internet, the positive side of researching through AI or Grok or ChatGPT is that you can get information quicker, but how are you going to let it resonate and take presence in your world? You've got to be able to walk with it and just think with it and sleep with it and dream with it and incorporate it as a practice. And this particular end of the year, the Capricorn season is about how are you praying? Are you meditating? Do you actually do your affirmations? Are you dancing? Are you singing? Are you too hard on yourself? Are you too focused on what you're having a hard time letting go of? The past sometimes isn't your friend anymore. It needs to be let go of. And Capricorn throws that in our face once a year, and from Yuletide going into the next sign of Aquarius in the third week of January, around the 19th of January. So the signs right now that could create a little bit of energetic thing is the Capricorn Cancer signs in our chart. Capricorn also represents the father figure, our Father in heaven. It has a lot to do with the story. The Capricorn sea goat has a lot to do with the story of the life, the breath that was breathed in the Christ consciousness into a man temple body that came to earth and had to do the spiritual pilgrimage and had to go through the crucifixion and the resurrection. So all of these transformative things, none of that could be easy for anyone that ever knew that presence of that master soul teacher. And so each one of these ancient cultures, each one of these truth spiritual dynamics speak about how we can also gain from the losses and how we can also rise up and aspire and be inspired by the travails and the losses of another person that gave a damn enough to want to uplift humanity. And we're going to see a lot more of that with Pluto going into Aquarius. So it's time to dream big for 2025. We all know whether it's Hanukkah, which it's pretty rare that Hanukkah and Christmas Day join. They did that this year. I think it's like at least been 20 years or 25 years since that's happened. Kwanzaa's just beginning. So we know that the new year is seen as a time for making resolutions and planning for what we want to improve and do and achieve and have goals in the year to come. But this time, it's extra special because this new moon is bumped up with the new year. So if we're ready to allow the magic and the mystery of authenticity, integrity, whether other people are showing up real and raw and committed, it's like we have to go out and do that. And I saw a very, very powerful Capricorn type of moon movie over the full moon that I want to share with you. I hadn't heard any promos or seen any trailers about it. It was just all of a sudden up there, and it's two words, and it's called The Forge. F as in faith, O-R, G as in great, E. And it's like if you a blacksmith, if you take a sword and you forge the metal by fire, and there is no bad language, there is no gory scenes, there is no plot twists that are destructive. The entire movie is inspirational. And whether it's your cultural acceptance about how the Holy Spirit works or the Christ consciousness works, if that's not even your cup of tea, watching that movie will help you to look cross-culturally, whether you watch things on Buddhism or Hinduism or whatever you're into, or earth magic. This movie is the most inspirational movie that I felt my soul rise by how it's mainly how an older male is mentoring and helping a young male that feels lost on his path. And it's how men are helping men. And I personally, and this is my personal opinion, I was so happy to see a movie beginning to bring back and honor the yang and the masculine teachers and the masculine mentors and the masculine positivity. I got so over men in our society, in the world, being cast down like there's something wrong with them. I just got over this whole attack, the divisiveness we've experienced anyway, but this is enriching and empowering. So I think I found it free on YouTube. I originally watched it on Netflix, but it's just called The Forge, and I invite you to watch that, and Joe, maybe have in your chats, or have, it really, I as soon as I got done with the movie, I just put my hand up and did my glory thing, and I said, you know what, I could do an entire 4-hour seminar with that movie right there as the artistic compilation of being able to go over so many points that would strengthen your soul in times of loss. And, when you're silently weeping, when you're putting on that brave face out in the public, but you're stressing about money, or you're wondering why that person left your life and why would they lie to you and why did they withhold things from you, this is the time. Saturn rules confronting our fears and being able to accept the strength of going through, like it says in the 23rd Psalm, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, that my soul gets restored. So I walk through the valley. We have valley experiences, and then we rise up. So I'm not going to kid you. Capricorn energy is intense, and the fact that we had 2 Capricorn highlights and illuminations really is pulling on our fears to come out into the open, to where we can say, why do I make fear and my insecurity a constant companion? How am I giving myself ability to grow and to trust and embolden my faith if I just look at what's not working? So this is a profound portal of creation. The sun is sending all kinds of light. Study the Schumann resonance. There's all kinds of stuff on different platforms that you can find out exactly what's the difference between an X-class flare and Schumann resonance and the solar ejections and things like that. It's busy out there. It's really busy out there. So I feel we're getting new opportunities. There will be unexpected turns of events, clarity, powerful revelations, as well as divine inspiration. But I do feel, in order for us to be more aligned and level up, there is going to be some things that get shaken in our world, and it may be just our attachment to that which has become habit or a pattern or familiar, kind of like our go-to way we get angry. When I get angry, I always act like this, or when I get sad, this is my psychological mode of behavior with that. We don't have to do things the same way all the time, regardless of our age. We can evolve our psychological self, our mindset, the way we think, the way we process. With Saturn in Pisces right now, so compatible with this Capricorn stuff, and with Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, your waking hours as well as your dream zones. And I know Joe is very profound and a great teacher of the dreams and the symbologies of dreams and astral projection and etheric travels. This is a really good time to lean into that work.
Yeah.
And maybe do a few, talk to Joe about the symbols that you see and the dreams that you have. It's a passion of his, like astrology and intuition is a passion of mine, and numbers and colors and animal totems and the medicine wheel. But Joe is a gifted guide. He's really leaned into studying this much more than I have. I mean, I have to still go research it when I have all these little wild symbols that come up in my dreams. So when you meet valuable teachers, I've told Joe for the last 3 years, I think that he should lean in and really be that dream wizard, the dream zone guy and the astral teacher of that. I just really feel that his passion and his heart is into that, and I think that we're all blessed to be able to be in our tribe someone that's going to direct that and can assist us on when we feel like we're in a pitfall or we're rising up on the symbology of some of those things, and especially to get help when it seems like it's scary to put our foot over the cliff. So there's a cosmic synergy right now, and it's going to be very strong into January 3rd. We have a opposition that's going on with Mars and Leo. Imagine the lion is coming out of the cage, and it's going to be in opposition to Pluto and Aquarius. And whenever that happens, you can talk to any astrologer. You can look it up online. What is the energy of when Mars opposes Pluto? So Pluto is like, I'll take it down from the top down. And Pluto is like huge, like it can be an entire, think the wars in the world right now. And Mars can be the warrior, the hero, or it can be the one that starts the attack. Mars can be fires and explosions, and I don't want any of that to be a part of this. But it can be false flag events. It can be, I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of tossing my head sideways like, what's with all these plane crashes? What's with all
I
these
was wondering about that
explosions?
too. Yeah, actually.
It's just like, wait a minute.
The skies are full
weird.
of stuff. Like, and here's the thing too.
Yeah.
Like, Mary has talked about this for, I don't know how long. And now that we're in these transitions in the sky, if you can't tell that consciousness is trying to work on people, look at all the people that got busted, and it's just starting. All the manipulators, all the people that were hurting people, whether physically, sexually, financially, all these people are getting theirs, and it's still coming. It's still coming. While other people are being forced to come into their authentic self, but at the same time, you have to deal with the pain. And that's like you said, why did they do that? Why did they do this? But if you're in the cube of the present moment, you should look around at the people that were there for you through thick and thin. Right, like always.
Yes.
Always, they're there.
Well,
always.
And to your point, pain. It's a choice that if we can use the Aquarian energy of detaching from, well, I feel this kind of way, and they shouldn't have done that, and I did this for them, and they didn't do that for me, or I expected more out of. If you can just erase all of that and act like you're some kind of alien that doesn't understand the normal psychological emotions of humans, and look at that same situation from like an angel looking down above you going, okay, you got to get out of the earthly details of that. You can feel how you want to feel and release the emotions that you want to release, but what did it give you as far as how did you come out of that a little more smarter? How did you come out of that saying, well, I'm not going to do that way anymore? And so, for example, there was a local restaurant that I went to today, and as I pulled up, there was kind of like a guy in camouflage, and he was sitting in the outside tables. And it was a balmy, for this time of year in Tennessee, you're kidding me, it was a balmy 58 degrees. And I'm like, I'm so great. It's like, the sun is shining. It's so nice. And I know the owners. And as I'm parking, the guy he would have kind of been a little alien. He would have been a kind of little just, you get that kind of odd vibe of like, okay, I'm not going to bother his world, and I'm going to put my psychic shields up and my soul shields up, thank you, angels, to bless him and also protect me. And so I just was busy finishing off a text and meeting friends there. And then as my friend came, I was going into the restaurant, and as my friend came, that same man in camouflage was like getting up and doing gyrations of like kind of military camouflage, older guy. And he was doing gyrations of like he had an air gun, like he was pointing and shooting. And apparently the person that was meeting me there saw that he was kind of like doing that gyration of like pointing a gun at them. So we went in, and because the owners know us, I said, just a point of question. The guy that's sitting outside, is he okay? And she said, every customer that's come in here today for lunch, she said, if Joe, you can relate. If one more person asked me about that person, I said, I said, can I bless him? Does he need a meal or a drink or something? Because I know God puts things in front of me for a reason. I just want to make sure, if it's okay, I'm fine. I just want to, and she goes, no, she said, he's a veteran. And she said, he's just flat slap crazy, but he's a veteran. I said, okay, I'm good with the veteran part of it. I don't like the way they've been treated and ignored in this country. We're good. And her husband was there too, and her husband's a veteran. And she said, no, but it's a fine line, isn't it? All the customers are saying that guy's kind of scary out there to me, and I don't want to lose business either. And I said, I'm fine. If he's just a little cray-cray, I'm fine. He's not hurting anybody. He's not accosting anybody. And she goes, no, he said, no. She said, but I understand the customer's point of view. And I said, well, let's just take a moment and just put some light on him. And she said, turned to her husband, she goes, go out there. I said, do you know which guy it is? And she said to her husband, go out there. Should you go out there and talk to him? I said, I don't want him talked down to or reprimanded or anything. So all of a sudden, as spirit will do it, Joe, or ordering. And I said, no, leave it go. Don't say anything. And my other friend said, no, the air gun thing kind of made me go, in today's crazy times. And so all of a sudden, the husband got busy, and she's on the front managing everything, and the guy comes in. The guy comes in through the back door there, and he's getting him a drink, and he turned around, and she said, he's kind of crazy, and sometimes he'll dance and stuff. I said, dancing's good with me. I'd rather see him dance and pull a knife kind of a thing, but, you just kind of got to be a little aware. You don't need to be judgy-bougie, but you need to be aware. So he came in, and he was over at the sweet tea machine, and he turned around, and he looked at me, and he gave me like the sweetest smile. And I know that crazy people can turn on you too and stab you, but I turned around to him and I said, I want to wish you a Happy New Year, sir. He said, for me? I said, yeah, I'm going to declare right now that you're going to have a Happy New Year. We could all have a Happy New Year. We could dance into a Happy New Year, couldn't we? And he goes,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll take it. And then he just gets his drink and he goes out the back door. And she goes, yeah, that was him. She goes, and I said, please don't have your husband go talk to him. I as long as you know that he's okay. Okay, now I have lunch. Everything's fine. Restaurant gets busy. Here's the difference of how Capricorn can switch it, the plus and the minus. We go out. Some guy just comes walking out of a parking lot. The other guy's left. Some guy comes out of the parking lot. And this used to happen to me all the time in Florida. Talk about something that will test your charity and your empathy if you're an empath. And he's admiring my friend's car, and she'd bought a new used car. And he said, that's really pretty. That's a Corvette. And she goes, yeah. And he goes, I have to be careful. I like things that go fast. He's being friendly and all that. So he comes up to be friendly, right? And so I'm just putting some groceries in the car. And then all of a sudden he says, yeah, my mama and I are homeless, and I'm just kind of out here wanting to see if I can get some money, because we're homeless. And I looked at him, and I just said, yeah, it can be tough out there. Just don't. I said, if you want to hear her start the car, go over there to the Dollar General and just stand there, and you'll get to hear the vroom, 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 because I'll leave before that because I don't need to hear the vroom, vroom, vroom. in one minute, I said, she likes that stuff. I don't. I said, I just like a car that drives good. And in 1 minute, I looked at him like, don't play me. At first he's all friendly. I said, yeah, I'm just here trying to get some money. I wish somebody would just give me some money. My mom and I are home. His mother was nowhere around. It was just all of a sudden he went to that kind of Saturn devil kind of thing. And that's when I shifted, and I said, yeah, just don't.
I mean, to me, it's okay to ask for support if you really need it. A lot of times, closed mouths don't get fed. Especially if you're if you're offering value to the world in any kind of way. That's why I like people when I come in the street in Little Rock sometimes, and they're doing things or playing music or something, right? They're trying to do something.
Oh, I'll give to that all the time. Yeah, but it was like it was a switch thing, like, oh, here's two women, I'm going to manipulate them. No, it really was, because I had just gotten done doing more of my little tithing, like to here and there, and, like I like to do. There's a veteran that I know that they knew too, that I always tithe to him. And she said, the truth, they don't take anything. And without saying a word, that first veteran that we saw, he just walks in. She lets him have unlimited tea and drinks and whatever it was. And she says, if anybody tries to buy him a meal, he comes in here and he puts it in my tip jar and said, thank you for all the sweet tea that you give me. Thank you for letting me sit on your table out there. In 1 hour, there was this switch about someone that wanted to kind of, it wasn't like that, Joe. I mean, I'm like you. I have good spidey senses about.
Yeah. Who's finessing me? Who's finessing me and who ain't? Really? Yeah. I get that.
So I'm going to say this. With our new year, it's absolutely, you're not imagining it. If your sleep has been interrupted, if your shoulders have been hurting, if you've had some odd aches and pains, if you've been a little surly, a little snappy, there's stuff that's wanting to come up. And so if you'll just kind of make a little note of it, of like, what has got me so edgy, and if it's money, or if it's this partnership breakup, or whatever it is, then let me just do the shadow work on that. And let me just, at least let me invite the angels into this specific situation to help me, to guide me, to give me messages in my dreams. And then our own discipline, once we've called for the holiest of hosts, the almighty I am, to help us, our sacred guardian angels or whatever, then our job, and watch that movie, The Forge, our job is to go out there and for me, to focus on what's good in the day, what I did that was good, what was good that happened for me. And so I kind of want to, before I go into the signs, I want to say this to you. My hope for all of us, our tribe here at Lighting the Void, anybody listening to this, you're not alone in how that it's been heavy energy. It's been like people got either up or down with the election in this country, and then people like Thanksgiving, and then people have great hopes for the food prices and the gas prices to go down and the wars to end. And so, and the political manipulation of these wars and the hidden agendas to be exposed, as Joe said. And with Mars and Leo, this whole thing about child sex trafficking and all that, I remember at one of my lectures in North Carolina, I said, well, and it was so odd to say this in, I said, there's Saturn's in Leo, and I'm telling you, there's stuff going on with kids. I don't know what it is. There's something to do with little kids being used like lab rats or experimented on, or there's something, they're being abducted. I don't like what I'm feeling with this, and so I'm going to say it so I can dilute it. And I remember people looking, there was like 50 people there at this lecture I was doing, and they kind of looked surprised, and I said, I'm bringing it up because Saturn's in Leo, and I'm telling you, within a 14 to 15-year cycle of Saturn, at the longest 30 years, it's going to get exposed, and we're all going to have to be a part of it because it's hidden, it's nefarious, and it's going on. We have to be able to be disciples and voices for the innocent lambs, the children.
Yeah,
said,
and isn't it sad that you
be.
can't bring it up, right? Like, these are the people that need our help the most on the planet are the kids. They're the future of everything, and they're defenseless and helpless and innocent. But if you bring it up, it's weird or it's awkward. And this goes to show like how people just want to feel good all the time, right? And that's a social engineering thing that's happening to you.
It is. And what we have to put our foot down on is we're not going to be manipulated by video games or movies or the latest cool thing in AI or social tech or anything. If you want to embrace the light and you want to have the light to begin to be on the increase, the light will always prosper you. The light will always bring in some kind of healing, even if it's someone's time to transition and leave the planet. It will bring the necessary healing. Your overarching wellness as you continue through this earth walk is if you will address the repetitive things that seem to be haunting you or picking at you or repetitively coming up. That's what lets your cells still drink in the light. That's what lets you not get falling down deeper into an ill-at-easement, also called a disease. And so taking charge and saying, that bugs me, and when it bugs me, I feel this in my body, or I get the headache or the shoulder ache or the backache, or I get constipated or whatever it is, or I fall all over myself, or my eyes get dizzy. We've got to start just looking a little deeper at how grace and the heavenlies are speaking to us. It is heaven to earth. We're living on Earth in a Milky Way, that's what they call it, Milky Way galaxy. Somebody named it, I didn't. And so we've got to be able to look at the fact that whatever tools we have, whatever mathematics or star alignments or holistic herbs, or, when you plant something in the ground that's going to feed you or your livestock or your chickens or be beautiful flowers, you're a part of that birth and death process of protecting it. And that's what Capricorn is saying. Capricorn is the opposite sign to summer. The winter solstice is the opposite to the summer solstice. The Capricorn and the Cancer signs in our chart right now, the father, Capricorn, the father figure, and the mother, the maternal, the Madonna of Cancer, the moon, the oceans, the waters of the earth, and the rocks and the foundation is Capricorn. So it's earth and water right now saying, if you're weeping, let the waterfall flow. If you're sweating extensively, it's toxins coming out of your body. Go ahead and let it come out on your earthly body, with your earthly body, so that you can actually replace it with harmony and faith and light. I've got to let it go because it's leashing me. It's holding me back. So I'll wrap that up by saying I do want you to be several astrologers, and I concur with them. I'm not adding energy to this, but I'm concurring with them, are talking about and giving a very gentle reminder, be very aware of your outside circumstances. Be aware of who's around you, be aware of crowded places, just the way if you had a policeman as a parent or a partner, or a coworker. Be very aware of what's going on through, especially. It's on the increase right now when Mars and Leo is going to oppose Pluto and Aquarius. There can be globally ruthless power struggles, the downfall of rulers that thought they were going to get away and do all kinds of things to people. Again, we the people, aggressive. There's an aggressive energy, and it's an aggressive transformation. It can be chaotic and fiery and bombastic. Jupiter in Gemini, it's retrograde right now. It's squaring Saturn in Pisces, and it gives this kind of like, is this ever going to end? Why does this always happen to me? It gives a type of uncertainty as we're watching the global events and the status quo. We're watching the status quo go. And I've already got people, that are coming into X and Instagram and everything. Somebody's trying to declare there's going to be another pandemic and lockdown with this, whatever this imaginary bird flu crap is, and the people are going, I'm not complying. I'm telling you, you're going to see the Aquarian. Yeah, and I can tell you right now, I'm not going to, so they can kiss my grits, as we say in the South. So these last few days and going into the first 3 days of our new year, Mercury in Sagittarius is an opposite to Jupiter in Gemini. Those are what's being said. I believe there's a lot of false flags. I believe there's a lot of convoluted news, both on the internet and in any kind of mainstream media that you're hearing. You're going to have to question everything without getting caught up in it, because they're all in a T-square with Saturn in Pisces. And then you bring Venus in Aquarius. She's going to pop into a much softer place on January 2nd when she goes into Pisces. Yay! But right now, in the latter degrees of Aquarius, she's fighting, squaring off with Uranus and Taurus. So we could get a little bougie about our assets or lack of. Remember the plus and the minus. But the promise of going into that, when we get to like the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th of January, it starts to all settle down, and it's like the light cometh. It's very easy. So if I tell you this in advance, it isn't for you to say, oh, God, it's going to be really crappy. No, I'm giving you the things that you keep your vision astute. You're aware of what's going on. You don't go out there starting disagreements. You don't go out there trying to all bully up and push or be snarky with somebody else. You hold it. You make sure that if you're going to fight something, then you need to fight something that really matters, not trivial stuff. And it could also be a sudden love affair. All of a sudden it's like, but it could more likely be somebody trying to like seduce in a sense of what can I gain from this. So I want you to keep your head on straight with this, because Mars doesn't play when it's in the sign of Leo. It's a lion running loose, a male lion running loose with its partner out there in the jungle of life. So don't do risky things of all kinds. Check your smoke detector, your carbon monoxide alarms. Make sure your shoelaces are tied. I mean, it's realizing, and I do feel we're going to be around some people that are really, that we can be encouragers and we can support, that are going through a really fragile time in their life. So if you know Leos and you know people that are Aquarius, they're having to cut ties with a lot of things. They're being in service to someone in need. They're going through a total readjustment of like what they thought they had and they could hold on, or they had a few more months or a few more years. And Leos right now can be really frustrated, tired, and angry. So all 12 signs, I'm going to ask you as an intuitive empathic healer that when we come across the Leos in our life, I'm praying for my lion tribe. I'm praying for the Leos. I'm sending them ease and comfort and restorations, because of all the signs right now. Capricorn, although it's favored by this second new moon, Capricorn and Leo have a little bit of the strain on them. So as we join as a collective and the signs and the symbols change each month, we as a tribe can bless the signs that seem to be under the gun, so to speak, or in a little more of a dynamic drama distress. Yes, we can make a difference with that, and that's what I'm calling you to do. So before I go into the signs and Joe goes to a break, close your eyes, take a nice breath, feel it at your diaphragm, and just let these words land. I hope this new year, called 2025, brings you courage to try again, passion for doing what you love, ambition to aim higher, resilience in overcoming obstacles, humility to learn from others, and kindness for yourself and others. Aho, amen. Receive the blessings you deserve, every one of them.
That's good, Mary. I appreciate that. Thank you.
We need it. It's medicine. It's medicine. That's what you learn in these ancient cultures. Words can be medicine. You know, and when we put our very unique signatures of love, and our goal is peace on earth, and our goal is, as you said, the children to be inspired again and protected and encouraged, and we don't forget our older generation, and we don't forget our precious veterans and nurses and ambulance drivers. We need to take that spotlight a little bit off of ourselves and say, how can I be a divinity disciple out there? It's not about a particular religion. How can I go out there today and just turn the corners of somebody's mouth upward? How can I go out there and be an encourager? And if you could just make that project for the month of January, if you could just do that from now all through when we get to the new moon of Aquarius, the Chinese New Year, when we go into the wood snake, if you could do that over the next 3.5 weeks, I promise you, I can guarantee you, the blessing way will come to you. I'm not telling you to go out and give to get. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you go out and you give, because the medicine of prosperity is to be able to give with sincerity when it feels right to your soul and it feels right to your heart without thought of return. And then that goes into your karmic bank account. And believe me, there will be. I've seen it.
Karma's
I play
real,
with
y'all.
it.
It's real. It's definitely
There
real.
shall be
man.
showers of blessings. There shall be. And cast your burdens upon the holy. Stop trying to do it yourself. We get into this control freak thing. That's another minus of Saturn. Nobody's going to do it but me. I have to do it. I always have to clean up the messes. No, hey, angels, thank you. Hey, it's me. It's me. And I know I've done a whole lot of asking, but you know what? I'm shape-shifting. I'm transmutating. I get the higher frequencies, and I'm going to tell you right now, what I didn't see is that I needed to receive it. So I receive it. I'm going to not just ask. I'm going to say, yep, bring it to me. I can handle it. I can manage it, and I will not get greedy, and I will not treat it in a bad way. That's the empowerment of getting to the top of the mountain. You climb looking for the meaning of life. You climb higher, look for the meaning of life. You know, what's it all about? Why is this happening to me, God? And you get up there and there's this holy person and they say, tell me the meaning of life. And they said, it's the journey. The journey is just important as the view. So we're on a journey. In 2025, I promise you, with all these planetary changes, 2025, especially April of 2025, our soul purpose, our new pathway emerges in the third week of April of 2025. And it's not specifically to one eclipse, and it's not specifically to just one celestial planetary transit shift. This is, astrology is just a little piece of it. It's got to do with a global, a universal, and instead of just extraterrestrial or paranormal events, this is ultra-terrestrial, because the signs and wonders are walking with us right now. It's not some airy-fairy thing off there. We literally now have divine beings that are going to evidence themselves to us, whether CERN is opening up a portal and the sun's doing this, or there's some stuff going on that's raining down upon us. And so don't just look at, are the drones flying around, or the mechanical mosquitoes, you know, are they the little devil energies that are flying chemicals over us and all that? But if your soul says, don't go out in New Jersey and stare at the drones, go ahead and let them fly over and stay in, and take more D3 and get CoQ10 and get
Don't
yourself
shoot
some
at 'em.
ivermectin. Yeah, right. And yeah, they might be designed for you.
I did a
to
whole
have
show
trouble
on
if you
that because I took a shot at a drone once and I almost regretted it. Don't shoot at them. Don't.
almost regretted it. Okay.
It's just,
Okay, thank you
I'm
for that
just saying,
advice,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, it's as a dude, I don't know about ladies, but we like to shoot things. Okay. And,
Yeah.
don't go out and shoot at the drones. There's
It's so
laws
funny you
protecting
said that,
them that you would not
because
believe.
there's a meme. Oh, there's a meme in Tennessee. There's a meme of the country guy with his cowboy hat and his boots sitting with, I can't identify a lot of the guns, sitting with his rifles going, yeah, fly over Tennessee and see what happens.
Yeah, right.
So this is intense. You're not being a baby. You're not succumbing to negativity, but there is, right before you're ready to have a big shift in your life and some really wonderful things are going to happen, there often is that attack. There often is that lure. There often is that temptation to go, yeah, you just thought that was going to happen because maybe we were casting our energy outside ourselves a little too much. Can you see how that would be an energetic temptation or being in the world? Biblically it'll say be in the world, but you're not of it. You're not of it.
Exactly. That's the balance there. That's the perfect balance.
It is. And so don't get lured or don't be dismayed if something's got your attention. It's like, I'll be happy when I've lost the weight. I'll be happy when that divorce is over. If I can just get that amount of money out. No, my discipline as a spirit is I'm already prosperous. I'm already divinely designed. And if I'll just go back to the Creator, and say, you know what, I'm going to ask you to be the director because I'm pretty good at screwing this up, or I interfere with it, and then I judge it and blame myself or somebody else or go into a shame thing. So, I'm going to divorce that. That will release the blocks in your life if you'll just realize that you came in as divine and soul sovereign. You are already a sovereign soul. You already have emotional intelligence. We just need to focus more on that instead of the stuff that society says. We're not a success unless we have ABC. We do ABC. We dress a certain way. We have a certain amount of money. That's the lure. That's the temptation.
I swear on everything, y'all, what Mary's saying, and one of the biggest reasons why I keep Mary here and I love her to death is because every time she comes out and does one of these shows, I've already, I'm on the precipice of going through this stuff that she's talking about. I've literally went through a few relationships of friends, family, and partners, and that's all they did, right? Well, you're not abundant enough. You don't have enough resources. You're not this, or they're constantly comparing you to things, and you can't point your finger at that person and go, that's them doing that to me, that person. It's spirit doing that to you through these people. That's what it's doing.
Yes.
It's not them. Well, it is them, but it's not the way you think,
They're an agent. Agent. Look at it like a cartoon, or look at it like a meme. Or look at it like a tarot card if you want to. That person that's wanting to hold space in your life or come in and talk to you and text you and thrill you and orgasm you and all, that person is coming in to titillate and to trigger you. And if you start to see that they're not being honest, or any time that there's some kind of titillation, there's also a takeaway, or then they want to try to wound you, and it's just like, don't spend time with people that don't see you as the good person that you are when you're presenting the good person that you are. And I don't even judge them. It's just like, they don't see me. They don't recognize me. That's not my person. Move away. Stop trying to go fix it. It's just like, no, if we can come together and be compatible friends and have a good time, and they can vent, they can go through a hard time in their life, I still see them. I still know their integrity. They've proved that they're an authentic person. I'm not going to kick them when they're going through a hard time. But in that point where after your little honeymoon phase of a job or a relationship, if they're just like poke, but I do this, and I do this, and you should do this, and you should do that. Yeah, what ship did you get on? You're not staying in my relationship.
Yeah, imagine someone loving the hell out of you, like you've never been loved. And if you've come from most of us, we all think our story is individual, but a lot of us come from families where we didn't get the love from our parents. It's all psychological. Not just you, lots of people did. So when you get love bombed, right, it feels like that void is being filled again, right? And that person comes around. Finally, yeah. And that person comes around, next thing you know, they're devaluing you, right? Well, you don't have enough resources. You're not abundant enough. You're not positive enough. Or you're always going through something. Or your vibration's negative. Whatever the hell they're telling you. To me, it's a test. That's what it is.
It is.
It's not just that person. It's a test. It's little demons, so to speak, coming through trying to get you to grow.
It's the temptation. And you know what it is? We're not helping them evolve if we tolerate it and we put up with it. We're not helping them because even though, to use your words, we got love bombed.
Right.
And it's arrogant of us to think we're not going to go, sometimes I'm the support emotionally, financially, sometimes, yeah. I mean, you don't do a 50-50 thing. A relationship is 100% 100%, period. You're 100% going to look at it with realism and not fantasy all the time. You can have some great fantasy moments, but you also got to work on your compatibility as a team and the reality of the snares, the illusions, and the challenges of life. And even though you're going to go through challenges, we're going to go through losses, if that person teams with you and says, man, we got this, yeah, it's a, listen, you know what, we'll do without, or we'll do this, or we'll do that, we'll get through this. I got you.
And they do exist. There's 8.5 billion people on the world. Stop looking at social media to try to figure out, there's 8.5 billion people that will love and cherish you just for your presence alone. I know it doesn't sound real, but it's real.
It is.
Friends, family,
here's
business,
how you get there
everything.
faster. Here's how you get there faster. When you move quicker out of and away from the business, the social, the personal, the intimate connections that start to go wonky on you. And I'm not saying just plow through people like a box of Kleenex, but the moment that person, we've all been there, the moment that person starts to attack your character.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if my character,
if you're doing something
crappy,
messed up, though,
that's different. Yeah, that's different. That's different. I own it, and I apologize, and I understand why you're walking away from me. I don't live like that. I don't do that, and I have one selfish reason why I don't do that. I give a damn about my soul. I give a damn if reincarnation's true, about the evolvement of my soul. And if it's not true, I really want to course correct and do the right thing, because it's so easy to do the lazy thing or the quick thing or the wrong thing and go, I got mine, I don't care about yours, I got mine. I'm not doing that. That's not who I am, and that's not the people I'm going to have around me.
Right.
But when we get into that love bomb and all of a sudden they start criticizing, if you'll just, again, use the Aquarian energy to detach and say, when they talk to me that kind of way, is that the way one parent talked to my parent? Is that the childhood theater drama that I heard? Did my dad do that to my mom? Did my mom do that to me? Was my dad absent? Did my mom just karmically not be in my life at all? So there's some kind of little similarity that's going on there. And instead of judging her or falling back into wham, my parents didn't do me right, just go from this premise. They did the best that they knew how to do, even if that was all wrong. That's all they knew how to do, and we need to evolve the family tribe by not doing it the wrong way, and not, if they're still in our life, not letting them do us the wrong way anymore. For God's sakes, when you're adults, you can turn around to that parent and go, yeah, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You go be you, but I'm not going to sit here and be judged by you. But I'm going to let you be you. But I may take some space from this, but I'm going to let you be you. I don't want to just look at it that way. I'm going out and proving it different, and I hate that you look at it that way if it causes you pain. I love you, but I'm not going to do it that way.
Yeah. Mary, do you want to take
with them all the time?
A little break before you do the signs?
Yes, sir. Let's do that. Go get a drink, go to the restroom, and just know that we love you.
Yeah. Mary, we're going to take a little break, and then we'll come back, and we'll go through the signs. And then since I was a little late, we'll take a few minutes and do some questions through the chat, too. By the way, big shout-out to Dragon Rose. I'm sorry, I think I got your names wrong. I don't want to always foul stuff up if y'all haven't paid attention.
Okay.
There's always something little that I mess up. Georgiana, yeah. Kitty Herbs and Sudi, thanks for the support. The YouTube chats and the stream elements, tip jar, all that stuff. Love you guys so much. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Get your questions ready in the chat room if you have them.
the truth? Are UFOs real? Are aliens visiting Earth? Are governments around the world hiding the biggest secret in history? We're UFO Seekers, official partner of The Fringe FM, and we're on a hunt for the truth. Join us as we investigate locations like Area 51 by subscribing on YouTube at youtube.com/UFO Seekers.
This is Malorcas45, fan of the Fridge FM, challenging everyone to open their mind's eye. Listen to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop to gain precision for your third eye vision.
Hey, this is country music singer and void walker Jason Benoit, and when I need my fix on the world of magic and the capabilities of the human consciousness, I listen to Joe Roop right here on Lighting the Void Radio.
Are you thinking about creating a podcast but don't know where to start? Do you really want to have to learn all this stuff? Individual track processing, enhance and improve sound quality, edit out those awkward pauses and slips, mix multiple clips and tracks, fix and balance noise levels and perfect volumes, deliver consistent sound, live podcast production, show notes and SEO optimization, episode upload to hosting, live call screening, balance levels and loudness measure broadcast standards, full branding packages, logo design, podcast site, website, show artwork, video and audio production. Gotta do video because everybody's doing video, branded video graphics. Or do you just want to get on the mic and get your ideas out there? The Fringe FM team is here to help with all of your podcasting, audio and video production needs. From simple podcast to audio enhancement, our professional production staff will make it easier than ever to create the podcast you desire.
The biggest thing is time. A lot of people that podcast don't have time. Time is like a really valuable currency next to cost. It's even more important than money. Why waste your time doing all this stuff? This is what we can do for you. Think about like the hours and the money you're gonna have to put into doing all this by yourself. Doesn't make sense. It's gonna take you months to launch. If we did it for you, we could do it tomorrow.
Visit thefringe.fm, join our team, and get jump started on your podcast today.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Have you ever wondered, what do the stars say for me? Or, will the next month or the next year be more favorable? How about, are our two signs compatible? Each month, at the new moon, you can ask these questions live with me, your astrologer psychic, Mary Dusina, along with host of Lighting the Void, Joe Roop. Join us at the new moon for Cosmic Conditions. We look forward to working with your energies.
Every new moon at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Fringe FM.
Hey, this is No Way Jose, a Northern California Piscean stuck in the Arizona desert. I'm a void walker, and I got the shoes to prove it. So what do I do when my soul yearns to delve deep into the realm of the unknown? I aim my satellite straight into the night sky and catch a smooth ride on the KTLK-DB radio waves. I tune into Lighting the Void with Joe Roop on the Fringe FM.
Joe, Lighting the Void is the best show on the planet. This is Barney, your friend from Facebook. Thank you and all the crew for all you do. Namaste, my friend.
This is Macon from the foothills of North Carolina, and I am a void walker.
G'day, void walkers. This is Lily from down under Australia. The world may be small, the enigma is greater. So let your curiosity take you for a journey with Joe Roop.
Hey, this is Fee, coming in from Central Maryland, and I am a void walker.
This is Kevin Doherty, a beginner void walker. I'm from Vancouver, BC. I know a little about a lot, and as Leonard Skinner said, I'll guess the rest. I learned a lot from Mr. Roop in the show, and heard it from the beginning. I knew right then he was going to be a new Art Bell. Thanks for all your shows, and keep it up.
Hey, this is Derek from Mass, aka the Night Stalker, and I'm a void walker.
This is Mark from Chicago, and I walk the void to ascertain what is consciousness.
My name is Jared Johnson, and I'm from Humboldt County, California. I do not know all of the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm a void walker. Thanks, Joe Roop.
Broadcasting from Forest Tower Studios, all the way from the Deep South. Now, here is your host, Joe Roop.
if you guys want to support that, you can. Sorry, I was muted the whole time. I was going to say, thanks, Kurt. I love your introductions. If you guys want to support the station, you can to help get the stream back up. We've got to renew the domain and all that stuff, so you can definitely do that. But we'll always be here on YouTube, and hopefully I will. I'm thinking about streaming to Rumble and other places too, just to be safe. So the reason why we kept the Fringe FM stream up for years is because it was our safe haven, just in case someone's like, oh, you can't say that or whatever. And I love radio. So if you want to support that, you can to help get the station back up. But we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with it. But as long as it's supported, it'll always stay up.
Automatically uploaded. That way it's not a whole lot of work for you. I've got a lot of people loving the YouTube. I'm sure they'll tell you in the chat what they prefer as the venue, because you put it on like Spotify and other things too, don't you?
Yeah, I have to update the podcast. It's just okay. It's a lot. Been going through a big transitional phase myself, so
Haven't we all? We all, my tribal brother? Haven't we all?
I love doing this, man. So I'll probably be doing this till I'm dead. Honestly.
Yeah. So. I'm a media girl. I mean, I started out in the terrestrial radio and television, and I'm a talk jock. I mean, that's what I love to do, and I do that in my work. My appointments are over the phone, and the different podcasts, that's increasing for me, and it helps. Oh, yes, I give of my time. No, I don't get paid money to do these various podcasts, but
Nope.
It's a win-win. The host has got the domain and the equipment, and you're blessing them. It's bringing more audience to them. They're blessing you because they're giving you a platform. And the audience, although they love to give and support, because when it's gone, it's gone. So I would invest in the people that you like as guests and the podcast venue, because that's what keeps it going. That's free for every time you donate to a podcast venue, a station, a host, get a reading with me, you're a part of the outreach going to people in need. You're absolutely a part of feeding someone's soul. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And giving them help if they couldn't quite do a reading. And I've been looking at astrologers' prices lately, Joe. Yeah, I'm real affordable. I mean, I'm like, whoa. One of them's $1,500, and another one's like $483 for half an hour, and I'm like, okay.
That's the inflation.
I like being reasonable.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah, well, I like being reasonable, and I know what I'm worth, and so I already know that I'm tithing by the prices I have, so, step it up or don't bitch at me when it goes up. Yeah.
Speaking of which, all right, so after we do the signs, if you want to ask a question, you have to donate, right? No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing.
Well, that would be smart. $5 adds up, $10 adds up. So let me run through this real quick, because we spent a lot of time on the astrology. So the Capricorn dynamic that we start, here's the important part. Right now with this new moons are beginnings, we start an emotional liberation platform. We start a prosperous psychological transformation that will go from December 30th into the new moon of June.
Okay.
We're going from Capricorn to Cancer. That's 6 months. So all of us have entered into a psychologically advanced, soul-enhancing classroom with everyone that comes into our life, everyone that leaves our life. That's the big celestial message. If you're in Aries, it's involving all kinds of stimulating ways of passion with work, passion with purpose, the prosperity coming in different kinds of ways. It might not be an electronic payment, but it's all kinds of different ways from your skill sets and being blessed. Like maybe somebody else has paid for some things and you get to have them. So the prosperity and the career is going to be multifaceted, and I like it. And when Saturn gets into Aries, it's good that you're getting these different ways and that you're continuing to put your foot out there on the pathway of doing different things, because it will enhance the thing or the things that you love to do the most. If you're Taurus, it's 9th house. So Tauruses are kind of upgrading their priorities, what they feel is really important in their life, and they're deciding at this juncture in their life, at this crossroads in their consciousness, what really is an adventure. And I believe that you Taurus are going to be more face-to-face, less online. You're going to opt to be at the lunch, at the meeting, at the lectures, putting together the venues more than just like, let's Zoom or let's do this or let's Google or let's, I think it's all that's great, but I feel like that Taurus right now is ready to come out of the pasture. They're ready to look into different pastures and what's growing over there. If you're Gemini, it's 8th house. This is a deeply transformative time. It can be sensual. It can be life after death revelations. Excellent month to do any kind of past life hypnosis or past life visions. You may see themes that your soul has had as a repetitive pattern in your dreams and in your meditations. It's a time for you to look at who you want to be involved with financially or intimately with, because that's where the circus rides are changing and evolving. If you're a Cancer, we talked a lot about Cancer, Capricorn and Cancer. Cancer, it's about what you will tolerate in a one-on-one platform and what you're tired of. With Cancers right now, it's just like, you know what, I'm putting in a whole lot of effort and I've been giving too much. I'm not going to get stingy or greedy with my love, my affection, or my emotions, but I'm certainly not going to waste my time either.
Amen.
So all the significant other type of relationships are being upgraded. And by your participation, thank God, you're not staying too long. If you're a Leo, spoke a lot about Leo, it's health issues, helping others with their health issues. There'll be losses that you bear witness to, but you're also an integral part of being their earth angel, their support, their comfort, and their soft moments. So with Leo right now, I can't stress enough, make time for you, take care of you, don't allow yourself to get overly drained. And there's going to be a lot of Leos that are choosing to walk away from something. It's just like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. So Leos are going to be kind of like cut and dry. If you're a Virgo, it's 5th house, flirt with life, let life flirt with you. I do believe Virgos are going to be put on a mission. We were speaking with children. I believe that Virgo children are going to come to the limelight. We've got the nodes moving into Pisces and Virgo as we go into January, and so all of us are to have our eyebrow raised on the benefit of those innocents and those younger than us, but especially Virgos are going to be moving into healing dynamics of massage, holistic therapy, helping children learn about natural healing and giving them a platform to vent and then guide them, maybe differently than their parents or their grandparents can. Maybe they won't listen to them and somebody else can, be that prism of light. Libra, it's 4th house. It's home. Home base is changing. Who you live with, who you want to live with, where you live, the location that you live. Libras may be experiencing a mother breakdown, matriarchal shift. It may be that you're not going to be the stepmom anymore. A mother may pass away. You may move away. You may confront some patterns in the family dynamic that has to do with the mother consciousness. And certainly, Libra, you're going to be put in check about how much you run to nurture others and give them soft moments and make them feel good. And in the meantime, it was you that wished that was being done to you all along. So it's okay for you to nurture you. Scorpio, it's 3rd house. It's communication. It's community. It's consciousness. And a lot of Scorpios are going to be trailblazing as far as the lectures, the seminars, the gatherings. Again, I absolutely feel like we're going to be more face-to-face in 2025 and 2026. We're going to want to find the presence of our tribe and the community and how our souls and our consciousness get strengthened when we are together in unity. So for Scorpio, it's watch what you say what you mean, and get the word out there. Sagittarius, it's 2nd house. So Sagittarius are coming out of a 19-month, almost 2-year cycle of what they were doing financially, what was nurturing their wallets and purses, and what they now want to expand and let the arrow go and get involved in something else. And I see a lot of Sagittariuses with assets and resources blessing others. It's good for you, Sag. It's good for you. People can be encouraged when they have an uplift of a financial sort during the day, too. Money flows around in the world, so the coins and the dollars, and it helps. It just simply does. It's just a fact of earth life. And finally, Capricorn, happy birthday. You're entering a cycle now with Pluto out of your sign since 2008 that you've got to let go of everything that came into the forefront from 2008 forward into this. The nodal change, Capricorn, is going to help you not feel that deep sadness as you go into 2025, but there is going to be some work for you to pick yourself up and maybe check into 5-HTP or St. John's wort or something natural, besides something that could be addictive to lift your mood. The THC chocolate kind of helps sometimes when you get into that sadness zone, Capricorn, because Capricorns can fall into that trap of it's been looking bleak or down for so long they don't see up anymore. So make a resolve with yourself, Capricorn, whether you're born in the December or the January cycle, that I'm moving on up and I'm going to be looking up. And every time my chin goes down or my eyes are cast downward, I'm going to put my eyes into something inspiring, whether that's a biblical scripture or Rumi or Gibran or the 8 Buddhist precepts or whatever it is. Get yourself out there and get motivated. Watch those YouTubes. Listen to those podcasts to where you actually can be quiet in your own place and take in the knowledge. Drink it in, because it is a type of medicine. And all of us, this is the time of the year. This is the time of the year where we're supposed to be closing doors and we're supposed to be letting things end with grace and not keep hanging on to it. We've got to let the door close. But the piece of that, Joe, before we go to the readings, the piece of that is here's the responsibility of Saturn. How have I let my past control or define my future? And it's up to me. It's up to me to allow the directive and the course correction to occur. It's up to me. It's nobody else but me to do that. And so I have to take the torch and the flame and light my own path. And I have to first know that I'm worth it, not to be sad or angry or resentful or clinging to the past. Yeah, no. It has to start with us. It has to start with us. It's not somebody else's responsibility. We'll just end up draining them or being too needy or chasing them off if we don't address it within ourselves.
No matter what happened in your past.
That's right.
I understand
That's
some
right.
things
Exactly.
are crazy, difficult, intense, like psychologically and emotionally terrible. I get it. Like some things are bad. At the end of the day, as an adult, it is still your responsibility to fix it inside of you.
And we can. That's the beautiful part of it. We can. I know people get tired of hearing that country song, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but it did kill a part of us, and then we had to, that died. And so now we can be rebirthed. We can be born anew. We can resurrect ourselves too. That's the promise of the risen Christ. We are made in the image and likeness, and so therefore we are resurrecting and evolving all the time if we will get out of our own way.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to start now with the message. I don't know how long we're going to do this for a little bit. Okay.
Yep.
And then we'll start, asking questions. I'll
wind
try
it
to
up, and we've got another new moon coming next month. And remember, we did 2 this month. We gave you 2 this month.
Yeah, you got two new moons, right? Yeah.
Twofer.
Oh wow,
It's a
look,
twofer.
there's people. Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate it. Thanks, Cosmic. Appreciate that. YouTube super chats. Thank you guys. I'm going to start because it's kind of not fair if people were already asking because I mentioned it. But let's start now. Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, so let's start with Kitty Herbs. Dear Mary, it's been a long time, and I would love to have you pull a card for me and my current situation.
Okay. The symbol that came up and right into my clairvoyant eye was I saw a seahorse, which is interesting. It's oceanic, and the seahorse is I'm pretty sure if I remember it right, the male seahorse actually has the baby seahorses. So there's some type of a thing of where you're allowing the yin and the yang, the magnetic and the electrical to kind of switch with you. So it may be that if you've always been aggressive, you're going to be more passive. If you've always been quiet, just let people kind of mow all over you, you're now going to come into the warrior mode. And I see family matters. And the other thing that I see, you're navigating through some kind of family situation. And if someone gossiped or if someone said some things that were a little hard to take or digest, just understand that that's a crack in their structure and their foundation, and you don't need to let it be an earthquake for you. I do see that there's some kind of a little bit of sadness, a little bit of like, damn it, a little bit of sorrow over some kind of a loss, but then I see flowers, and I see that something had to go, something had to die, something had to finally be confronted, but I see that there's a huge weight off of you, that it finally got dealt with or confronted, or like, yeah, I ain't going to play the game like that anymore. It falls where it falls. So somehow I see a liberation out of this, but the process was intense.
Okay. I hope that helps, Kitty Herbs. Next, let's see. Cosmic Samurai. Thank you, Joe and Mary. I'd love to have a card pulled from our current transition for 2025.
I feel like that Spirit's saying to me that you've got the stealth of like a field mice. A field mice, it's a cute little creature. It's kind of like a squirrel. It's not like a rat, like a sewer rat. You've got like this, a little field mice, a little mouse, and like a little baby rabbit. They're often part of the food chain, but they also know how to be stealth and survive, and they can get into nooks and crannies. They can get into places and see things and get their morsels and get their tidbits, while avoiding the predator cat or the hawk overhead. And then I see an egg, and I feel like that there is something that is in a developing stage. I see that there is a success assured. I feel like there is plans that's kind of swirling around you. There is hard work that's going to be involved with this, but I feel like that instead of a seed, it's an egg. And I feel like you've got a fork in the road, and the fork in the road is how you are able to have the egg. Like an egg can be nourishment, the egg can be a new life. It can be a protein supplement that's not as expensive as like pork or steak or bacon or whatever, hamburger. I mean, it's an egg can be perfect nutrition with the yolk and the white. And so I feel like that there's there is a crossroads or a fork in the road, or where you're paused at the yellow light going, do I want to go right or do I want to go left? But something that was challenging or unsuccessful only brings better now. I feel like whatever didn't work out is giving you the insight and what needed to be critically looked at in order for you to be able to have now a clearer path and a successful outcome.
Right on. That was for Cosmic. What's up, brother? All right, so Jules Bauer, I think I'm saying that right. I would love to hear your insight on what is to come in this next season for me, Mary. Blessings to you both, Joe and Mary.
Thank you. We'll accept that. September jumped right up. For some reason, September, it may be both the September energies that shifted and changed in 2024, and just how much you've advanced and how much has bloomed by September of 2025. And it's funny, I see a crescent moon and a red fox sleeping on the moon, and the card number is 24, which is interesting. We're closing 2024, and it says, time for a nap, that you need to really be embryonic and womb-like and sleeping and restoring yourself. And then I feel like that it's like you get this whole new burst of energy on what you would like. It's almost like I see a title of a book, The Never-Ending Story, The Never-Ending Story and the Milk and Honey. So there's something about you are in a process of reinventing some ancient knowledge that you already arrived with this lifetime. And it's your unique spin on it. It's your unique way to not have to put yourself in a position where you need others so much, like the Cancerian sign. And instead what it's going to be is that it's okay that I can be the leader or the teacher or the instructor. Like I see you stepping more into the teacher role without letting people cling on you too tightly or for too long. God, I hope that makes sense. It's almost like you can't be their pacifier. You can't be the milk and honey all the time for them. I see that there's been a lot of hurting people or a lot of people that are looking for a soft place to land. And sometimes, unfortunately, the challenge becomes they're there, but they kind of want you to go ahead and do the work for them. And they have to do the work. They have to do the work. So you got to let them do the work. And if that means that you say, look, I love that you support me, but you got to go out there and do this for a while, and maybe come next year, or maybe I'll work with you 6 months from now, but it's time for you to, it's kind of like letting a little bird fly away from the nest. You got to go experience this now. I'm still here. I'm still available, but I think the next step of your evolving consciousness is to go out there and just deal with it and move on from it. And I feel like those are the kind of teachings and lessons that are around her right now.
Awesome. Feedback, please, too, in the chat. Feedback, please. All right. Mystic Rising. I'd love to have a card pulled. It's been a rough bit.
I bet so many people right now. Somebody's watching you in a good way. Somebody's kind of observing how you do what you do, why you do what you do, and they're not quite ready to step forward and speak about their observations or their admirations. But I feel like I just get it's like on a white background, and it's black wording, and it says you do have psychic knowing. You need to absolutely trust your intuition and do not question that first instinct. And there's good news coming to you. I feel good news. I feel a storm has passed you, and I feel like that there is a mentor, or there is someone that provides an opening for you to be able to take the next step in whatever work or whatever place you're going into. I just see the birds singing on the branch. Maybe that means March, but the birds are singing again. Earlier, if you live in more of a warmer climate here, it's usually March in the mountains. But it depends on what kind of winter we have. But I see this songbird, and it's perched, and it's singing, and it's like there's good news, and then I feel like there's a letter, there's a package, there's the news coming in, and I feel like it just keeps like spiraling more and more and more and more as you get into March, April.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, too, sorry to cut you off there because people are trying to call in. The phones are down. So Mary's line is down. I couldn't get into it. So Mary's on the phone line. So that we're doing the stuff in the chat. Let's see. The doctor. Is there a message for Scott?
I see a ring, and I feel like that there's a coming together closer. There's a deeper intimacy than just body to body. Not that can't be a fun little circus, but this is deeper than that. It's like even if you've been in a long-term alliance, there's something. Well, there's two things actually. I feel like that it could even be someone that you absolutely adore that you're going to be moving into an actual cohesive business adventure with. But I feel like I see these little, like there's this tree that I love that's got two different colors they look like little Buddhic lotus blossoms. I think it's some kind of magnolia tree, but it's really cool, Japanese magnolia or something. And I see that tree, and that's a very like the cherry tree in Japan. It's a tree of prosperity, but its flowers are just like captivating, and it blooms and blooms and blooms all year. And so I see that there's going to be a deeper commitment, a happy commitment. And I guess it's going to branch out and expand into both business and pleasure, trust and harmony type of a thing. It just feels like that its time has come, like your time has come. And I see that's the main message for 2025, that you have been steadfast and you have been loyal and you have assisted those in your tribe that meant the most and mattered much to you, and now you're going to like boldly take that adventure. It's like, I'm going to invest my time and I'm going to invest the money that has come to me, and I'm going to go make this happen. And I see the support with that too.
Make it happen, Doc. Cool. All right, let's see. We're getting a couple more. Just, are you good? You still good, Mary? I hate to just bombard you psychically like this. The phone calls have a little pace to them, But this is fun. This is actually kind of fun.
It's different. It's different. No, I love it. We normally require you to call in, but if it's a technical issue, then we're also making exceptions with you as well. I love the phone line because I can hear their voice and I pick up on the psychic energies that way.
Trey, what is my biggest block? What is Trey's biggest block?
No man is an island, they tell me. I see the owl as the totem, so I feel like he's got like two voices talking to him in a sense, like he's got the higher self wanting to urge him, to be a companion advisor to him. I see some kind of words or writing that could help be an inspirational. Someone's been greedy around him, or he just despises tightwad, greedy people. And it's like I see the other insect totem I see is the caterpillar, and what I'm seeing with that is things are not always that way. A change is coming, a change is coming, because the caterpillar, as we know, looks completely different than the moth or the butterfly. But I feel like that there's been something about stinginess or greed or the tight-fisted, kind of Scrooge type of energy, and I feel like
I know Trey, so that's
like
perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's like I'll never be that way. I'll walk through with less before I ever take that on as a countenance or a definition of me. I'm better being charitable and giving and open. I'm not going to do that. So I think the big block of letting that define him or insult him or affect him, that's what he needs to divorce and break up with, like the death of the Scrooge, the death of the miser, the death of the, just get away from greedy people. If that's not what you like, don't allow them around you. Just move away from that energy completely.
Yeah, and it could be too that you're picking up on the fact that I know that he doesn't like to be around people that are just negative. Like he kind of wants to say, like, "Hey, man, life can be good. It can be like I have that same attitude, So why?
Yeah, in the midst of absolutely, find the light. Find the light. Choose the light. It's just like, okay, we're sitting here and we got 50 cents between us. We can have laughter and we can split the the 50-cent taco, whatever we want to do. But you know what? We got each other and life is good. And this will be a moment we look back on. Those kind of moments become reference points too.
Yeah. Georgiana asked, I would love some help with, what is that? Oh my eyes, Mary, I'm getting old.
Bless your eyes.
The Tomlinson family stuff. What I need some help with that stuff. Tomlinson family stuff.
What I saw was
I don't know.
the fates. The fates are involved in this. There's like some kind of what would we call that? Like, I think tribes and even the Bible talk about generational curses and generational blessings. There can't be generational curses without generational blessings. And so the card she got is blessed. And what I see is that I see a woman with her eyes closed, and the stars are literally almost like on a string or on an invisible thread, and they're coming from the heavens into her hands. Her hands are raised up, and like the fates are working in allegiance with her. The fates, the divine, the stars, like maybe she's supposed to be looking at things nocturnal. Not the drones, but, go out and look at the stars. And even online, the places that are seeing the Aurora Borealis tonight over the next 3 days, I just go on spaceweather.com and it'll show you live pictures of the Northern Lights in Alaska or Finland or Iceland or wherever they're coming from. And it's very peaceful to look at Mother Earth's breathing. She's breathing in color with her electromagnetic fields with the Northern Lights. And anytime I just want I don't want to think about it, I don't want to study anything, I'll just go online and I'll say visuals of the Northern Lights or visuals of shooting stars. It's so
the night sky
primal.
Is majestic too.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, me
beautiful.
too. Oh my God, yes. That's my favorite. I mean, I love sunsets and the mountains and the beach and all that, but in the full moon, yeah. But there's just something about the serenity and the cloak of the night that hugs you. It just hugs you in a different kind of way.
Does it seem to you like it's brighter in the wintertime, like the night sky?
Yeah.
It does seem like it's more sparkly in the wintertime.
It is. Well, and it's going to be on the increase for the next 10 years too, because we're at solar maximum. So we're going to see the stars and the constellations much clearer this coming into this next year than we have. I mean, it was getting clearer in 2024, but it's really going to get clearer. I feel like that there's someone of the same sex that will help her navigate through the patterns of whatever this Tomlinson family or whatever it is. I feel like there's someone that will be an ally that's going to help her just absolutely shut the door that needs to be shut. No excuses. No one more time. No, just boom, done. It's like Shark Tank when they.
It's cool to have friends like that.
From me.
It's cool.
Yeah. It's like that's what I see for her. She needs to just watch Shark Tank one time to where if there's 4 of those investors or whatever, and they go, and for that reason, I'm out. It's a no for me.
Yeah, to learn that lesson too. Learn that lesson of putting that foot down like that. I mean.
Well, Saturn and Capricorn's boundaries. How well are we at setting boundaries that are first and foremost healthy for us? And when someone else sees you set healthy boundaries and not tolerate it, you've just up-leveled them because they're like, okay. I mean, there's people, I'll be out with a group of people and they go, don't do this shit with Mary. She'll shut you down at the get-go. You try that stuff. You know, I mean, it's like we went into a restaurant one time. This guy kept poking at this other friend. There was about 5 of us at the table, and he kept saying, she turned around and she goes, don't do that. I don't like that. And they tried it one time with me, and I said, hey, do you know who you're talking to? I said, I'll eviscerate you. I said, so you don't want to go there today. That's your way of, I said, that's your way of being funny. And I said, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do you a favor and tell you that doesn't work with me. So you don't have to act that kind of way with me because that doesn't work with me. I like you. I can unlike you. It's your choice. And his friend said, yeah, that shit won't work with her.
Yeah, and there's something to be said for people that disrespect you, and these kind of people I say keep around too. They'll be like, man, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to disrespect you. I adore you. I don't.
Right.
You know, like
he came right back with that. He said, oh my God, I don't ever want to insult you. And I looked at him and I said, then don't. Then listen to yourself. I know you don't want to. That's why the only reason I'm giving you a pass, Hoss. Don't do it. And my other friend didn't even set the boundaries. She was just getting all pissed off and her feelings hurt and all wound up. And I'm like, the hell you do that for? I said, just tell him I don't like. I said, I did tell him I didn't like it. And he kept doing it. And I said, well, you know, there's that psychic guillotine. Bam! It ends right now.
Real quick, I got a quick story, and we'll do a few more of these. But I realized I was like, at one time, I would consider myself a little bit of an emotional wuss. Let's just say I was too accommodating.
Oh, we've all been there.
Accommodating, right? And so I had this one, let's call her an ex that I was, you know, she was really doing the mind. It was far past finessing. It was like crazy stuff, you know. And I had another friend of mine that was a girl, and she was like, "What are you doing? Why are you letting this happen?" And I'm trying to understand, like, you know how the cancer thing is. Why are they doing that? It doesn't make sense. And you're trying to fix it the whole time.
I could help them.
Yeah. And she picks up the phone and she's like, "You hear me, little girl?" She goes, "I will find you and I will F you up. Do not call here again. I will hunt you down." I'm thinking, what are you doing? Right? I'm thinking, whoa. Like, what are you doing? And then she hung up the phone. She goes, "She won't call you again," you know? And I was like, what just happened here? You know?
You got friends in high places.
Yeah. And it did make me realize something. It's like, damn, that's what simping is. I didn't even know what simping was, but it's more like you're just so accommodating, and it's not because you're a wuss. It's because you just want to fix people, you know, and you can't.
That's the empath. That's the empath. But that's Carl Jung's wounded healer. Part of your tribe as you evolve out of it is you absolutely understand, have compassion, and relate to people that have been fractured and broken and abandoned and tossed to the side. And it's okay if you can be a wise counsel or, you know, do that professionally in a sense. But if you don't set boundaries, that's all they know. And so, again, we're not helping them if we let them continue that pattern of wham, 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 you did that. And if you loved me, you'd do this. And it's like, oh, don't tell me about me. You can tell me about you, but you're not going to tell me about how I feel or what's going on because that's me. See, I'm listening to how you feel, but you're not going to take that little finger and point it right back at yourself because you're not going to tell me about how I feel. I'll tell you how I feel, but you won't tell me how I feel. Yeah, no, that's not your interpretation. Wrong answer.
Yeah. All right.
And they know they're doing it. They'll bust out laughing, Joe. They'll just, when you call them on the table, they'll bust out laughing, going, "Hey, well, I really didn't mean it that way." Oh, good. Okay, then it'll completely change now, won't it?
Yeah.
And they'll sit their ass down.
You probably don't feel that way. I hate that, man. When you tell somebody how you feel, and, well, you're probably this. Or they'll gaslight you and go, well, you're just paranoid. They'll say it. They'll deny it, and then they'll gaslight you, you know.
Then you get a sarcastic Scorpio like me that has a lot of study in psychology. Go, is that what it is? Oh, my God. I've been dealing with that for so long. Is that what it is? Is that my truth? Well, you know what? God has provided you to walk up in this table today and tell me how I am. Glory on high. Yeah, no.
And here's another thing, too. If you ever witnessed or have been a part of a conversation where you have two people, you can call yourself a narcissist, an empath, categorize yourself however much you want to. Just hear me out here. Where you have two people that are actually validating each other's feelings, taking the conversation somewhere, really trying to get to understand the other person and not taking up everything or making it totally about them all the time. It is one of the most pleasant things to be around. and
Absolutely.
inspiring.
Well, everybody's engaged and everybody's alive. It's kind of like at a table, everybody gets a turn to speak. It's like when you in therapy. That's why the psychologist will say, "Here's the pillow over here at the medicine wheel. Here's the talking stick. When you hold the stick, it's your turn to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're going to be cast out of the circle." So it's like you can be in an adult body, but you can still be carrying on your little childhood, your little childhood behaviors. Age doesn't change that unless
we got
change.
wars to fight that are worth it. You know what I mean? Don't
Exactly.
put your energy anywhere else. So
stop draining yourself.
Let's see. Corey, we're gonna do just a few more. Okay, so Corey's asking, Mary, I'm almost positive I need some insight on what I need to do next in my life. I'm at a standstill. Please, love you and Joe both.
You accept that. First of all, Spirit's telling me, close your eyes, breathe in this moment, by everything that is sacred, holy, and divine light. In this moment, as these words are spoken, the resplendent angels come and do a clean sweep and clear and cleanse any and all deleterious, debilitating energies from the depths and the heights of your beingness, be it mind, body, and soul. You are now swept clean. Anything that was a hindrance is now released to the next level of love's light. You are realigned. You are now divinely tuned up, and you are free from the things that were unconsciously locking you down. And the card that I got is the vine, and the vine, like flowers and plants that vine and grow, whether it's a grapevine or certain flowers like morning glories and moonflowers, they'll vine up and clematis. Seek out, there's some specific information that'll help you. I feel like that there's a little research needed, or a little more like look at some different options and some different some specialty knowledge, or maybe talk to some people that have some specific knowledge. There's new little shortcuts and crossroads and things that you can go through to where you actually take the back. Sometimes you take the back road when the interstate is clogged up, and you're able to get through there, even if that way you wouldn't normally take it because it was 30 minutes longer. The interstate's usually a straight shot. Yeah, well, not during work hour. And I feel like there's been a major challenge that you've had to overcome. Like I feel like that the climb has been steep, and I feel like there's been times where you've like slipped back, and maybe actually that term sometime when people are trying to get off a certain medication or alcohol, there's been some backsliding, but don't hold yourself in judgment. Just know that also was a part of the journey to say, I'm going to overcome this, and then I succumb to it again, and then I overcome it, and now I get to see the difference of who I am on that addiction and who I am off that addiction, and how that addiction tries to infect the person that I like becoming when I'm not on it. So I feel like you're breaking some kind of a stronghold, and I feel like that if you'll engage whatever spiritual anchor works for you, if that's nature, if that's Buddhism, if it's holistic massage or sound therapy or music or dancing or whatever it is that brings out that best, better version of you, you need to lean into that, because it's not just what you're doing. It's do some of the meditations as you're falling asleep at night. Use your laptop, your tablet, or your cell phone for that, so you can go in there and kind of clean. It's like when you go to the dentist and get your teeth cleaned. It's like your subconscious needs to have a really good deep root cleaning, and you absolutely can just do that while you're sleeping. That's when we clean our subconscious. We don't have to, if you're listening to a meditation and you're actively participating, that's engaging your conscious and your subconscious. When you just turn it on and let yourself fall asleep and it's playing in the background, your mind's not analyzing it, it's not being distracted. You're just like you're sitting there softly snoring, and it's going in there and vacuuming and cleaning and doing what it needs to do. So sleep learning with you, dream symbols, sleep learning. Don't make it a job. Don't make it work. Just start to put on some of those meditations that are designed for that. Maybe some of the ones by Michael Seeley, Steve Noble. There's a couple of female ones that I like that are on YouTube, and just play them and find the one that you resonate with. There's some that are like angelic, violet flame transmissions that I'll play sometimes that are just music, and then there's guided imagery that I'll do. But it's just like I studied hypnosis and sleep learning, and I can tell you after all those hundreds of dollars that I spent, Here's a free tip. Just play it. Go to sleep. You really can do it the easy way, I promise you. After doing it all the hard way and doing all the technical stuff and getting all that certification to do hypnosis for people and myself, and I realized, oh, my God, you can just fall asleep. All that, you can just fall asleep and it'll work for you. But if you don't believe that it will, so you learn that after you go through all the certification and all the training. So I'm cutting to the chase with you, and I'm telling you can do it. You can overcome any block. Know this. Not always, but it usually, typically, takes 30 days to break a deep subconscious habit.
Yeah.
So you might not do it every night. You might do it like 3 times a week. You know, it's the small steps we do to start incorporating the change, because our same old habits are what we fall back into. So if you can just start doing it once a week, and if you like it, think, oh yeah, there's my cell phone, I'm gonna put the meditation on. Or you just fall asleep because you're tired that night. You get up and pee, then put the meditation on. Like sometime in the hours of the night or the day that you're sleeping, you can put that thing on. Not while you're driving. Not while you're driving, because you really are in a state of hypnosis.
All right, so let's see. 1, maybe 2 more, then we got to wrap this up. And I was aware that I'm late, okay, but we're
you've made up for it big time.
All right, Sudi with the $7.99, another donation from Sudi. Thank you so much, Sudi. I really do appreciate your support. Yeah, thank you. She says, Mary, I lay my soul bare for you to psychically probe. ...
Wow.
Please.
That's an intense responsibility. I get a sense that you feel something specific is lacking in your life, and like you feel the lack. Let's not even get into the specifics of it. Like you're tired of feeling the less than or the lack. But then the card I get is the horseshoe. And the horseshoe is known as, many, many people on farms and in a barn, they'll hang the horseshoe up. And the thing that flew out with it was a type of intimacy, loyalty, marriage. And I feel like that everything starts to shift in January, because the January card flew onto the floor. So there's something about the horseshoe is good luck, and that's coming. There's been some type of a stagnant type of an energy, but I feel like that, believe it or not, and it may be the furthest thing from your mind, but there's something that is as wonderful as that. What one would say is, that's someone I want to marry, that's someone I want to live with, that's someone I want to be with. So if that broke and that went away, and you're, I'm not ever doing that again. No, I feel like that there's someone, your person is there. Your person is there, and I feel like you're gonna like look at yourself and go, with all I went through, who would have ever thought that all that crap led to this wonder? But it will.
Yeah. Guys, gals, it's been fun. What's the final? If she didn't get to you, look, it wasn't your time tonight. Keep coming back every new moon. I promise you will get a turn. Or
everybody does.
Get a reading from Mary. It's probably
the
most.
The new year.
Yeah. What would I say? The most effective reading for your dollar. And Mary, this is what she does. This is her calling. So, the most effective reading for your dollar. I know you got to think about that too, right? Like New Year's, I'm excited. With all the stuff we're talking about, like I'm ready to drink some champagne, watch the ball drop.
Yeah, I feel good with this year. Yeah,
talk to some buddies.
I do. Yep.
Maybe get lucky and make out a little bit. Isn't that a tradition?
That's right. Absolutely. Well, I'm going Wednesday to have the collard greens and the black-eyed peas and the homemade macaroni and cheese. Yep, I'm doing, and the cornbread. Yep, I'm doing that because it's just a Southern thing, and I've missed it the last couple of years. And I'm like, you won't cook it. You've got those black-eyed peas sitting right there in that bag, ready to do it. And I found a country woman going, come eat with me on Wednesday. I'm doing the whole traditional thing. I'm there. I'm there. Thank you for all that work you're doing. I'm going to treat myself, and I'm going to go out and be served my New Year's meal. Another thing, Joe, I wanted to say to you is that the next new moon will be on a Wednesday. It's on the 29th of January. That starts the Chinese New Year. We are moving in to the Chinese Year of the Wood Snake. We'll be talking about that. The Aquarius stuff, that's going to be sweet. The full moon's going to be around the 12th and the 13th of January, and that's going to be the full moon rising in the sign of Cancer. So right now your homework is to locate What's lighting up in your chart is where you have the house or planets in Cancer and Capricorn. And after you party, Joe, and after you guys go out and party, I'm going to be doing an appearance on Jeremy Scott's Into the Paranormal. So on the first day of 2025, So, all the hosts here, we work together. We love each other. We all mention each other. Nicole and I talk about Joe, and Jeremy knows I do Nicole and Joe. So I love these hosts that give the platform for us to be able to grant you the tithes of our time and the decades of our wisdom
cheap.
To do this. Oh, I know.
It ain't cheap.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I'm going on my fourth decade of doing this. Are you kidding me? So, I absolutely know it. So, and I'll say this to you, Capricorn is also about knowing who it is that's worth it in your life to invest your time and your money. And again, I've always said this since Joe and I have been working together for 5 years now. If 1,000 people give $5, it's not going to bust the wallet of anybody so hard. It's not that you have to wait until you're really rich to do it. And I promise you, anybody who's ever had a reading with me knows I usually go overtime, and I usually give much more than what they say they've ever had from other people. I'm not better than anybody else, but this is what I'm blessed to do. So this is the time to get a little heads up on your New Year's. There's a lot of people out there doing predictions for the world for New Year's, but I kind of want to know what's being lit up in my own chart and what the themes are that my own angels want to do, because I'm not going to change the whole world. I'm going to change the daily community and the world that I go out into and I participate with. So let's not try to do all the big global things. Let's go be good Earth citizens, and let's make a difference with paying it forward in our kindness in whatever way Spirit presents that to us that we can do without any kind of anxiety or stress. That's when you're really giving, when you can do it with a heart that says, I can make this happen today, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it. And then I promise you sleep better. It feels better. You uplifted somebody else, whether you bought a meal and they never knew who did it or whatever. All those little things add up when somebody's going through a troubled time. Really, it does add up. It does make a difference. Even encouraging words, even saying to somebody, oh, no, here's $20. Go get your gas. Go ahead. Let me help you. I mean, it matters. And not that we're doing it for that, but it will come back to cast your bread upon the waters, and it will return to you 1,000-fold. And it will, and it does, and it does.
Mary,
thank you, Joe.
2025.
Happy New Year. I love you all.
5 years. Is it 5 years strong now? Huh? 5 years?
Say it again.
Have we been doing this for 5 years strong now?
Yeah. Come this summer, it's 6.
See, Mary's one of those people.
Come.
That's right.
I'm loyal.
Yes, she's one of those people. Right. All right. So thanks, Chance, for the 10. Thanks, Jan, for the $9.99. Thank you all for your support. It means the world. And we'll be back on the next new moon. Check out ltvpodcast.shop for all of my stuff there, swag, audios, etc. And also make sure you get a reading for your New Year's from Mary. For God's sakes, get one. Good night, y'all. Sweet dreams.